I think they like, but even now, like, we're not, we're not, and they're like, oh, yeah, no, we're thinking by the end of the school year. Like, so, but you're in June. Elementary school. Yeah, it's, yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's not real, like, it's just, yeah. I mean, it's just the way, I mean, everything. It's like, oh, this, you know, this really helps. This really helps. Everybody.
I know.
We ran, well, we redid it when we first bought it. This is. It'll be nice when it's done, but.
I agree.
It just needs to get over.
I know. I didn't do it try, so you can't unless you play. I bought it too. They do. I haven't heard.
Even heard from Megan.
Text her, I haven't heard.
No, she probably comes. I'm sure she. But we're about done. Is she? Told her that almost. And I tried to ring me to that. Anna, did you come in to see me because I didn't answer your call today?
No.
Sorry about that. Okay, I suppose you think Megan's gonna?
I haven't heard, so.
I'll call the September 15th City Council meeting to order. Call the roll.
Abby Hansen,
Here.
John Hawkins,
Here.
Megan McFarland, Matt McKinney,
Here.
Logan Welch.
Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call for motion to approve the agenda.
Full moved.
Second. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Item 1, petitions, communications and requests. This is a time of the meeting that a citizen may address the council on agenda on a matter not on the agenda, except in cases of emergency. The city council will not take any action at this meeting, but may ask staff to research the matter or have the matter placed on the agenda for a future meeting. Anyone have anything for us tonight? Harley, you had a successful fly-in over the weekend?
Yes, we did.
All right, very good. Item 2 is consent agenda. The following items have been deemed non-controversial routine actions to be approved by the council on a single motion. If a council member or member from the audience wishes to have an item removed from this list, we consider it in its normal sequence on the agenda. Item A is minutes of September 2nd. B is claims and fund list. C is reports for wastewater, electric, water, and for August. D is the police department activity report for August. E is the fire department report for August. F is recommended approval for issuance of beer and liquor license by the Iowa Department of Commerce for the following: approval for outdoor service for Seneca Street Saloon at 919 Seneca Street. And that's it. Move to approve collectively.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Chief, we're over to you. Thank you. Exciting night for us.
Yeah, so back in, I think, early June, right after I started, we were taking applications for police officer. We've hired one already, Gabe Atkinson. I introduced him, I don't know, a month ago, a little over a month. And with that, we were still short 2. So after tonight, after September 29th, we will be full staffed. So it's been kind of a long process going through the hiring. There's just a lot of steps, but I am happy to introduce our 2 newest officers. At this time, I'll call Matt Meyer. So Matt Meyer, he is a graduate of Fort Dodge Senior High, graduated in 2011. After high school, he attended Iowa Western Community College and Iowa State University, majoring in sports medicine. He began his law enforcement career in 2016 with Fort Dodge Police Department. I was his supervisor there, so here we are 9 years later. And during his career, he was a school resource officer with Fort Dodge. He was also a member of the CERT team, and spent the bulk of his career in patrol. Matt was most recently a deputy with the Greene County Sheriff's Office, and he started today. Hobbies include anything to do with Iowa State University, hunting and fishing. Matt lives in the Fort Dodge area with his wife Lynn and 3 kids. Matt, at this time, I will have whoever come on up and pin your badge on you.
If you want, you can come up closer if you want to take a picture up here, closer too. You don't have to sit down there.
Thank you.
Sure. It's had nothing to do with me. This is all him. Just don't poke.
What was I do?
It's the young man's name there, K-C-A-C-A.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Oh, thanks.
All right, our second hire, I'll invite Mateo Martinez up here. Mateo is from the area. He graduated from Clarion High School in 2021. After high school, he went and attended college at Ellsworth Community College, majoring in criminal justice. While in college, he played basketball, and in 2023, he graduated with his AA in criminal justice. When he was done with college, he returned to the Clarion area where he works for us now. For Clarion School District as a paraeducator, and he was also a coach of baseball, football, and basketball. Mateo enjoys hunting, working out, and training horses. This time I'd like to invite his girlfriend Lexi Lane to come up and pin his badge on.
Nice. That's my turn, Daddy.
Another one here.
Okay, we got to add that the head will be going to the
Welcome.
police academy in January.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
You can leave now if you like. You don't have to sit for the rest. Item B is resolution approving the purchase of a filter air wash rotary load blower for the water treatment plant. Nick, whatever that is. Not as expensive as an elevator.
That's very true. So this blower is when we do our filter backwashes, that remove the impurities out of our filters and everything else and settable solids. That blower is getting out of its useful life, and this was also part of Snyder and Associates assessment for the water plant to keep the current water plant where it's at, and this upgrading some of the equipment and older equipment we have to be preventative on it. The total cost was $62,940. And the funding for this will come out of the water bond proceeds.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Item C is a resolution approving the proposal from Shoemaker Elevator Company for the service elevator repairs at the water treatment plant.
So this is along with the same thing. It's a non-service elevator for people. It's used to bring chemicals up to the second floor and bring up heavy equipment up to the second floor. We're working on the clarifier. This was also one of the recommendations that Snyder and Associates thought that we need to have done and proceed with that, so.
And get it fixed before it breaks. All down altogether, I guess.
A lot of muscle.
It obviously hasn't been exactly right for a long time.
Was this just use the existing shaft and replace most of the components or what?
Yeah, it's most of the components, and there's a hydraulic piece that they have to replace when it goes up and down, so that's kind of a bigger component of it too. So,
And was there a safety aspect of this as well with the?
yeah, so yearly we have to get inspected by the Iowa State elevator. I don't know what they're actually called, but they come in and make recommendations, and then Schumacher has also been coming in for a yearly safety maintenance on our elevator, and there's a couple safety switches when it closes that should alarm out and they don't, so that's another issue on that, so.
Yeah. Okay. Full promotion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Item D is a resolution approving proposal from Gruel Roofing and roof replacement for the water treatment plant and the garage.
So this roof is over 20 years old, and the new Duralast system is at full membrane. No rocks on the top of it like we currently have. Grill Roofing and both Duersons do the Duralast system. Grill Roofing is obviously more local, and I think they're cheaper, and they have about the same background and everything like that. The only difference on the Duerson one was they had an upgraded for hail rating, but I don't think we'll have to worry about that, so recommend going with the Grill Roofing for the 213,000.
For a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Nick.
Nick,
Good to
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you.
Mayor, may I add just a couple of
Yeah.
comments on the water plant?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I know the items are.
No.
I just want to emphasize, and thank Nick. We've reviewed extensively the improvements at the wastewater plant. There were previous proposals that were around $10 to $12 million. Partnering with Darren Jacobs from Snyder and Nick, those costs were reduced to $2 to maintain that facility for the next 10 to 15 years. Residents who might be interested will see a series of purchases coming through the council over the next 12 months as Nick proceeds through it. But Nick is procuring quotes and obtaining this equipment and coordinating the installation. So we want to thank him for his work there as well.
Thank you.
Just as I talk about budget and cost, this was funded within a bond that is funded within existing rate increases. None of these costs are associated with future rate projections in the water fund. We estimate that in last year's budget, we estimated that there may be a 1% increase in water rates in the out years, but that will be determined by the council during budget deliberations. But none of these expenditures are part of those costs.
Item E is a resolution authorising the city manager to proceed with purchase of a prefabricated restroom facility from ABC or AB Creative in the amount not to exceed 117,000. Yeah.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. The item you have before you is a request to purchase a bathroom kit from AV Creative in the amount not to exceed 117,000 for the East Twin Park bathroom restroom project. East Twin Park currently lacks adequate restroom facilities for the park. The existing facility and storage building was built between 1950 and 1952. It included 2 small restrooms and a large storage area. The restrooms are not ADA compliant and need to be enlarged and reconfigured. We currently supply 2 portable toilets for the entire park, and it is not sufficient with the user load that travels through the park on a daily basis. And we have received complaints from neighboring businesses that park users are starting to come into their business to use the bathroom facilities, and they had a request for that to stop. We received a quote from AV Creative for a 20-foot by 36-foot prefabricated restroom kit. This kit will have a similar look to the West Twin Park new shelter. The structure would include 2 ADA restrooms that would contain a toilet, urinal, sink, and baby changing station, and a 22-foot by 20-foot picnic area for park users to enjoy. This project would require a contractor to prepare the site, complete the concrete foundation and flat work, and the rough in and trim out plumbing. Staff received an approximate quote for this work to be completed by a local contractor for the cost of $67,612. In addition, the electrical materials would cost approximately $5,000. City staff and volunteers would install the structure and electrical systems, while a licensed plumber would be contracted to install all necessary piping and fixtures in addition to the site prep work and concrete work. There are sufficient funds for this project, for the complete project. $65,000 is budgeted in the 25-26 fiscal year capital improvement plan. $27,000 from the hotel motel fund, $12,885.51 from the East Twin Park City Fund, $9,100 from the Enhanced Hamilton County General Parks Fund, and then the reallocation of $42,710 from the outdoor pool study, and $25,000 for the cemetery asphalt roads. We would also could possibly use additional funding supported through the local option sales tax dollars allocated to the Parks and Recreation. Staff is recommending that the City Council adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to proceed with bids and award contracts for the East Twin Park restroom project to AV Creative, an amount not to exceed $117,000, as this will serve as a modern ADA compliant facility that offers a long-term value and reduced dependence on aging infrastructure.
Can you speak to what if any other alternatives were looked at besides this particular structure?
Yeah, so we tried to receive quotes for a prefabricated building that would just be set in place. All the contractors that I spoke with either did not respond back to me. One did, and he said he does not do work in Iowa. The other option would be for us to remodel it in-house. So where the city staff would do all the structure on the inside, we would still have to hire a licensed plumber to do a new sewer line and water line and hang fixtures, do all the piping inside, but that would be another alternative.
Okay. And is it men's on one side, women's on the other? Is that one single stall?
It would be two restrooms, and they would be family restrooms. So each restroom would have a urinal, toilet, sink, and a baby changing station, and be ADA compliant. So someone with a walker or wheelchair would be able to utilize it too.
There's some skepticism among city staff on the ability for the existing structure to be reconfigured in as cost-efficient manner or in a manner that would serve the public's expectation. But we did take a hard look at it. We're more than happy to go back and take a look at that as well if you'd like.
I was just curious what alternatives we looked at.
What are you using the rest of that structure for? The old warming house area?
So the existing structure would actually be removed, and the new structure would be put in place.
That's building decrepit or?
Well, it just doesn't suit to put the toilets as they are, can't be used that way, so we'd have to tear those walls out.
70 years.
But, well, unfortunately, that with ADA and everything,
You saw it.
yeah, but with ADA and everything, unfortunately, they're not big enough to.
And to put in the new water and sewer lines, you definitely have to be taking out quite a bit of concrete flooring for it too.
Brianne, would it be on the same site, pretty close to the same site?
Yes, yep, we would remove the existing and place this one right where that one is. So it's centrally located for the picnic area so that viewers can then see the entire park, and also have it close to the playground, splash pad, all that for restroom use for the little kids. So.
We make a motion,
Yeah.
make a motion to,
Yep.
okay. I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye. Thank you.
So now we're looking for volunteers to. Those who aren't doing anything next year, something to do every Saturday morning for a while. Actually, it should be a lot quicker to put up this one. And it's our second one, so we should know how to do it.
It's quite a bit long, so.
Yeah. So item F is a resolution accepting and approving acquisition of property generally located at 914 John Street, the city of Webster City, Hamilton County, Iowa. Evening, Ariel.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. So this is a property that city staff has had on their radar for quite some time. It was left vacant and abandoned. It's been neglected. It has been a nuisance property for quite some time. So with Attorney Chizik's help, we were able to go to court for this property, and the courts did agree that it was vacant and abandoned and deeded it to the city.
That the one that burned.
Nope.
Next door.
I had to look too.
It'll be the next one.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 down.
Right next door.
Mhm.
Okay, you want to buy acreage in John Street? Yeah, I think we're starting to get it.
We will be soon.
Uh,
The late show.
So call for motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
And item G is a resolution to approve the commitment of matching funds for an application for funding to the Iowa Finance Authority in support of the Heart of Iowa Regional Housing Trust Fund. Which is a very good thing. We're still moving forward with that.
It is. So the city's been part of the trust fund since 2018, and it helps low to moderate income homeowners with needed repairs in Hamilton County, Webster, Wright, Pocahontas, Calhoun, and Humboldt County. This year, we are eligible, the trust is eligible to apply for $452,745 from IFA. Which does require a 25% match of $113,187. The county has already committed up to $8,500, and for our portion for Hamilton County, we're just asking that the council approve a resolution authorizing up to $8,500 match as well. Just to reflect back in 2025, 3 projects have been completed in Hamilton County, 2 which have occurred here in Webster City. And there is currently a project in process in Webster City. And also I just received another application for Webster City. So we would hopefully be able to get those 2 projects still funded this year.
For promotion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
It's a great fund. I mean, which unfortunately, when we, Hamilton County, Webster City actually got it going in this area, and everybody else has joined with us, so it was good. Item H is consider the first reading of proposed ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of Webster City, Iowa, 2019 by adding new Article 6 pertaining to stormwater utility.
Evening, Mayor and Council. So this kind of goes a step back a ways. When I took over this position in 2017, my supervisor said, the first thing he'd like me to do is see this through, and it's kind of nice to see this start. So stormwater infrastructure, kind of self-explanatory. Storm piping, intake, stuff like that, rainwater, and shedding off the road. So a little background. Anytime you look at this infrastructure. In the past, when we do a street project, it's been paid for out of the road use tax. A lot of our stormwater fund is not very much. I just brought my little cheat sheet here. We got 60,000 in some infrastructure we can do this year, 20,000 in-house, and then 28 that we do on televising and cleaning. And we haven't really even got through the entire community with a storm sewer, but that's pretty common with communities our size. And so this is a great step forward in seeing what's out there and getting all this stuff paid for. When it comes to a reconstruction project, we're putting upsizing infrastructure. Like I said, that goes back to using the road use tax. And so you're taking away money for the streets to be for storm sewer. So I'd like to invite Julie. She's done a lot of the background work on this. If you have any questions, she's kind of done some rate studies and stuff like that. This should be by the top.
Hello, happy to answer any questions you have. I can walk through it. Before you tonight, you didn't get the rate studies until tonight. Those were exhibits that didn't get included in the packet. Exhibit A is 2 sides. And what that is that is a rate study of cities with a similar population to Webster City. So we did 5 to 8 or 9,000, 9,000, I think. So these are cities that the Iowa Stormwater Education Partnership, they do every couple of years, they do a rate survey of the state and communities that have or stormwater utilities. And so that's where this data came from. They have a new one that's supposed to come out in 2025 that's not been posted yet. So this is 2022 numbers. The other table is cities that have in the area, so regionally to Webster City, and what they have and what their rates are. The box on the small box is that is the averages that the communities are charging across the state according to Iowa Stormwater's survey from 2022. So you can see there's several communities similar in size to Webster City that are doing it. Some do flat rate, some do a ERU, and a residential unit, which is based on the amount of impervious coverage on a property. So if you had, say, 3,000 square feet of house, paving, driveway, garage, the rate might be $3 per unit. So if you had 6,000 square feet, that would be 2 units. So it'd be 6 times 6. So in meeting and discussing with the city, we thought maybe a flat rate would be the best, especially since it's kind of a very introductory. It's not only new to Webster City, but it's also a very evenly distributed in fees and start to a stormwater ordinance in the community. Exhibit B is a very general estimate of the revenue that would be generated per month would be about $29,000, and then annually $347,000. And again, that is just based off of units, like land use units that we could calculate, pull from parcel data. It's not based on your metadata because I didn't have access to that. As far as the rates go, it'll be a $3 rate for every single family residential unit. Multifamilies, I want to make sure that it's clear that it's 2 parts. So there'll be a $3 rate per unit, and that would be billed to whoever gets that water bill, whether it's the property owner, landlord, or the renter themselves. And then there would be another $10 per building rate that would go to the property owner, landlord. So there's kind of a 2-part to a multifamily, and then commercial, educational, governmental, and religious would be $10. Industrial is $20, and then this ordinance recommends exempting any undeveloped agricultural land or vacant lands. So again, happy to answer questions. You can see that also I should point out that there's kind of some yes or no columns. Those are additional regulations that other communities have. They're not being proposed or considered for Webster City, but just kind of trying to show you what's out there. Terrible.
I actually did an article on this back about 6-7 years ago. Kind of show whether it's going to be necessary in the future for us to do something like the stormwater, but let alone the fact we start talking about collecting it before it gets to the river and that sort of thing as well. So, and that's something that's going to cost us in the future if we end up having to do that. But hopefully,
Yeah, whether you're talking about the money that we have to remove from use for roads when we do those types of projects, or the possibility of DNR having more regulations in the future. We've seen what happens if we wait on some of these things like the sewer treatment plant, where we're looking at financing and collecting it in advance. We know it's coming at some point. But even if it doesn't, we have plenty of uses for that that we can then put that other money towards the streets. So I think it makes sense. In my opinion.
I'm thinking that not really fair on me though, because I collect my rainwater and it goes into my pond at home.
Yeah. It's.
But I guess I'll pay it anyway. I have a 20,000 gallon pond in my yard.
I don't know,
Neither.
starting small. so.
Shouldn't have any more questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, call for motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Brandon. Okay, item I is a second reading of an ordinance amending the code of ordinances of Webster City, Iowa by amending section 50-184 to update off-street parking material requirements within the corporate limits of the city of Webster City, Iowa.
Hello again. So staff is presenting for city council the consideration of the second reading of this amendment to 50-184. Modernizing off-street parking requirements. So back on July 7th, city council did approve the first reading of the ordinance with the condition it returns to planning and zoning for further review, including the revisions to allow for gravel driveway extensions. It did go back to planning and zoning. This proposed amendment would define the major things that this amendment would do would be defining the acceptable surfacing materials for off-street parking areas, driveways and entrances, allowing driveway extensions to be surfaced with gravel under a permitting and inspection process, clarifying that all non-conforming driveways and driveway extensions must be properly maintained and kept free of vegetation, and differentiates between parking lots, which would require paving in storage and loading areas in commercial and industrial districts, which may be gravelled if properly maintained, and then it renumbers the subsections without altering the existing land use based parking ratios. So this did go back to planning and zoning. The commission reviewed the ordinance and recommended the approval of the second reading with the gravel driveway extension under a permitting and inspection process. The Planning and Zoning Commission did also recommend that commercial and industrial parking lots be allowed to be gravel rather than being required to be paved. City staff does still maintain the recommendation that commercial and industrial parking lots be required to be paved with concrete or asphalt, which would minimize the maintenance issues and align with modern development standards. Again, we did differentiate between parking versus storage and loading areas for those commercial and industrial parking lots. And then this is also just to help us when we are trying to enforce nuisances and illegal parking. So what we are recommending is for it to be bordered for the driveway extension to maintain the gravel and be 4 inches in depth for that gravel, going through a permitting and inspection process through the inspection department.
What we would.
So, for the commercial industrial that you were talking about, there's a designation between what's truly parking and what's more of a storage or loading. So that would still be permitted. It's just you have 75 employees parking, it needs to be concrete paved. Okay.
And that's a choice you, can make. I think the planning commission felt strongly on one side of it. Sometimes we'll see areas with large gravel lots that have, 4 to 6 parking stalls for staff. I think you have a good mix of it in the community. It's just what you're allowing for new construction. And that is certainly, your prerogative.
And this would be going forward. So like any commercial industry who has it now would be able to keep it as gravel.
Just have to maintain it.
Yes. Okay.
When would or how would a triggering event occur? Would a major expansion or a remodel trigger the new section?
The new section would have to comply with this ordinance. However, what's existing now would stay legal non-conforming. Like Zach said, it would just have to be maintained.
Mhm.
I think if we find ourselves in a situation where we are recruiting businesses and it becomes an issue, we would certainly be willing to bring this before the council for
To be
consideration.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Mhm.
I'd hate to squash development
I know.
if that is, we can do it, but we need to wait 5 years because we're spending all the money for the business. I mean,
Mhm.
should be some consideration.
Yeah. For promotion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Item J is a second reading of an ordinance amending the code of ordinances of Webster City, Iowa, 2019 by amending chapter 42, article 7, controlled access facilities.
Again, this came before council on July 7th. Council did approve the first reading of the ordinance. Again, with the condition returning it to planning and zoning for further review to allow the gravel driveway extension. So these two sections of the code coincide. The biggest amendment to these that I'd like to highlight are defining what constitutes a driveway versus a driveway extension, establishing the width and material requirements for driveways and driveway extensions, clarifying that one driveway is allowed with a second driveway permitted from an alley if it provides access to a garage, and then establish a permitting inspection and maintenance requirements for driveways and driveway extensions. So back on July 7th, when I brought this before council, one of the things that I had mentioned was that right now when we're seeing illegally parked vehicles, we're seeing some of those homeowners taking bags of gravel and just putting them around tires to meet a requirement that was truly never a permissible use. So this would just allow for that driveway extension towards the property line, again, to be bordered and go through a permitting and inspection process to make sure that it is 4 inches in depth, and then outlining the width for a driveway, which is based off the number of stalls in a garage. Also, the driveway, right now, we don't have anything that is clearly stating that there is one driveway per front access. So we have ran into some times where a request has been made for a second driveway. So we're just trying to clarify that one access point is permissible unless you have an alley access, which also leads to a garage and has garage access, which would allow for that second driveway then. And we have some pictures too, if that would help. What we're trying to prevent going forward. So in this particular instance, we've got the drive going to the garage and then just an additional driveway. And then here we have a parking pad back here, which really leads to nothing with an additional, well, this leads to the garage and then an additional parking pad here, which leads to nothing. And over here we have what would be permissible. So they have a driveway here, which leads to the garage. Back here, they have another garage off the alley access, which would allow access to that garage. So that would be permissible. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's affecting only new driveways, to answer your
Okay.
question from earlier.
Thank you.
Yep. The existing ones are just non-conforming, but they're allowed. Won't tell.
Haven't you got a new garage beside?
Yes, that's why I was.
You're in.
Good deal.
Okay, call for motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Ariel.
Thank you.
Item K is a resolution to authorise and execute waiver of first right of refusal purchase between, for the purchase between the city of Webster City and Hamilton County. John?
I can, Zach, me, I can start. You can fill in the blanks. You want to do it that way? Dean and Jerry. Before you is a resolution authorizing a waiver of the first right of refusal for the purchase of property that the city currently holds on what is commonly referred to as the DHS building, sometimes known as the Bliss building, but it is adjacent to the Brewer Wilson Park and is located on Superior Street. It is currently owned by by Hamilton County. They have issued their intent and begun the process of seeking bids for the property. You might wonder how the city obtained the first right of refusal. That was part of the agreement between Hamilton County and the city of Webster City upon the execution of the agreement that now manages and oversees the Wilson Brewer Park Foundation. As the county began the process, there was some discussion as to the impact our first right of refusal would have in a open bidding process, some fear that some purchasers might have. And so they have respectfully requested that we consider in advance of the sale, in advance of receiving the bids, waiving our first right of refusal to clear up any questions among potential purchasers. The first right of refusal was obtained during the negotiations on the agreement based on the location of the property to the park. It is on the parcel abutting it, and some discussion by the foundation and the park that building might be used at a future time for restroom access, offices, and parking that is currently held. I do believe that at this point in time, the specialty clinic also has access to the parking and has constructed a sidewalk between the two buildings and are utilizing that. Not sure if that's a lease or some type of other agreement they have with the county, but they do have something of that nature for their employees to park in. I believe that summarizes the issue. I'm happy to answer any questions about the background of this first right of refusal for the council if you have any.
You answered all my questions just now.
I don't have any additional questions.
Ben? Call for motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Call for motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned, everybody.